We are going to talk about Gatecrash spoilers. First five, right?
Yep.
Which actually haven't, I don't think they've actually been confirmed yet, but
Pretty likely that to be the real thing.
they look like real cards to me. Like, as far as, like, they're not, like, that overpowered, really, but, I don't know.
But
They seem real enough, I guess. But yeah, let's just start with the first one, Enter the Infinite, which is a card that I gotta admit I don't care about because it's not even the style of card that I generally play with. But and I don't even know where to go with this card, you know.
I think it's pretty clearly that it's just going in some omniscience deck, either in standard or in legacy. Potentially even modern, who even knows?
I mean, it makes sense. Like, you're just drawing a scene amount of cards, right?
Yeah, like you draw your entire deck and you win that turn. Like there's no doubt about it. Like you're never untapping again.
Don't you find it a little odd that it puts you have to put the one card back on top of your library? Like,
No, it's not odd at all. It's just in case you don't have a combo, like you actually spent 12 mana on this. You tap out for this, hope you don't die, then you untap, you draw the last card, and then you have that turn to win.
how could you not have the combo after you drew your whole deck?
I
I
don't
mean, I
know,
guess you just spent 12 mana, right?
like in limited, like if you actually just hard cast 12 mana just to find some random bird spell or something.
Are you seriously talking about Enter the Infinite and Limited?
I don't know what the format is, man.
That's retarded. Enter the Infinite, you'd be playing a 12 drop Sasha and Limited. You're just making us look bad.
I've played Emrakul before.
You've played Emrakul?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it was ball.
I mean, I think like back when I was first testing out the format. I mean, granted, Rise of the Eldrazi is probably one of the only limited formats where you could play Emrakul, but
You might be speaking too soon.
I can't think of another format slow enough.
This one might be.
I doubt it. It's a multicolor set.
Yeah, multicolor red.
I mean,
Who knows?
Boros is one of the guilds. And you want to cast Enter the Infinite? Not to mention, once you get to 12 mana unlimited, you've probably already drawn your whole deck.
Likely.
I don't think this card's gonna see any place in Standard. I don't see this card getting cast in Modern. I mean, Legacy, sure, but
It's just so absurdly powerful though. Like you never know where this card's gonna go. It's probably just like a $2 junk bin card, or like maybe $20 staple or something.
I
You
know.
just never know.
One of the things that sucks about cards like this, I never really brew with them. I just kind of shove them off to the side, you know? And
Just
then,
wait for someone else to do it.
right, I never want to do the work with these cards. Like, I'm always working with cards that are, like,
Playable.
good, I guess. Yeah, playable. But this is too complicated for me. Enter the Infinite. I don't even know what to do. I mean, there's so many things you could do with all those cards in your hand, and not to mention there's other ways of drawing your whole deck. You know.
Right, but like a pretty easy win condition is Psychic Spiral with this card. Like you snapcast the infinite again with omniscience out of play, and you spiral them to death.
In what? In Standard?
In standard omniscience.
How is that any different than just like Epic Experiment for 5,000?
Because with omniscience you can't have experiment for 5,000.
But like all of those cards do the exact same thing, which is just win the game. But
Right.
this one is sorcery speed, or it's a sorcery, so you can't like cavern it into play. So you can just counterspell it.
Right. It depends how popular counter spells are. I'm not saying it's good, man. I'm just saying it could be.
Okay. Yeah, I would, if someone bet me right now like $500 that Enter the Infinite will never see a tier 1 deck, I would take that bet immediately. In Standard, from the time that Enter the Infinite comes into Standard and Gatecrash until the time that it rotates out post whatever, big rotation happens in Standard, I would
Right.
place a $500 bet that it never sees a tier 1 deck. I said that
T1.
I said that about Vraska too.
Yeah, but Vraska's actually a bad card.
Vraska's terrible. I know everybody's like, no, she's pretty good, and it's just like she's like acidic slime, but way 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 shittier.
Yeah, she costs black.
And like her ultimate's awful. Let's bring up.
Yeah, it's
I want
terrible.
to bring up Vraska really quick.
Okay, we'll go to spiel about
Yeah,
Vraska.
we're doing a side note on Vraska here. Um, where's a
Because
where's
we both thought this card was terrible the second that we saw it. And we were both correct straight away. Like, so
I
many
know what
people
she
have a
does,
hard
but I'm
on for
gonna.
this card and just thought, I was like, oh my god, it actually says win the game.
No, this card's awful. It doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like 5 mana. It comes out, and it's like the best thing. The best way you can utilize this card. Like if you actually are just playing this card, it's fine in limited, but in constructed, like you play it, it goes down to 2, and you killed one thing, right?
The best case scenario is +1, -3, -3, and that's it.
Like,
-7 is not, like, ever gonna happen.
and not to mention, like, are they really not going to be able to deal with 3/1/1s by the time you've played a 5-drop Planeswalker, ticked it up to 7, ultimated it, untapped without summoning sickness, and then swung in? Like, you seriously think that they just don't have an answer to 3/1/1s?
Right.
Um, yeah, and it's like, its colors are, it's multicolored, right? So, like, even Thragtusk is easier to play, and not even probably, is better.
Definitely.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Don't even, like, compare him to Fragtus.
No, no, no. I'm not. I was thinking about the other 5 drops in the format, and like, I was trying to think of like a 5 drop that I would want to.
Spirit of Safety is better than this card.
Exactly. I was trying to think of 5 drop that I would like to play less than Vraska.
Garuk, Primal Hunt is strictly better as well.
Right. I just can't think of one. I and people play this card. Like
Yeah, no, they do.
you see it in deck lists, and like I go up against Reanimator decks, and I see them playing like Oblivion Ring and Vraska, and I just don't understand. Anyways, we were talking about Gatecrash spoilers. We got really off there. Let's talk about the second one, the Borborygmos Enraged.
Enraged.
I actually really like this card. I don't think it's like constructed playable for standard, but everything that it does is extremely powerful. Like Seismic Assault for 3,
Right.
that's insane.
I actually think it could be constructor playable, like in Reanimator sideboards for the mirror.
Right. I think if it does see a deck, it's going to see Reanimator. Right.
Yeah,
Like
you're definitely not tapping 8 mana to cast this spell.
I don't think so. Although I would love to like play a Cavernous Souls naming Cyclops and force this guy through a syncopate and then just start pitching mulched lands at their face.
Like they end up dissipating your mulches and stuff like that.
um, he works really well with mulch. Like if I was playing a deck with this guy in it at all, it would definitely have 4 mulches in it. And mulch is like I like that card a lot.
Yep.
It's really hard to make the enabler cards like mulch and grizzly salvage. Like it's hard to build those decks and make them consistent. But I don't
It's
know.
hard to make those cards valuable late game as well.
Mulch
Like the
and
mulch
grizzly
you have
salvage.
to pretty much be set up already. Like the value that you get from the lands aren't that good. You might as well just have Thought Scour or something like that. But this guy actually makes the lands that you get relevant.
Right, you could have a grip full of lands in Reanimator, and yeah, I mean, I guess what would be kind of cool is if you like if you played the kind of like a Jund, and obviously playing white with Reanimator, but you like Disciple of Bolas and drew because you remember playing with Disciple of Bolas how you would draw obscene amounts of cards, but then you
Yeah,
just
you could just enter the infinite and draw your land.
God, oh, I hope that happens.
That's the first deck we made.
The edges with the first 5 cards that get spoiled were using 2 mythics and then put the deck completely. That's terrible. I would never do that.
An 8 drop and a 12 drop.
I would definitely want to cavern my Cyclops into play though.
For sure.
But no, I think its last ability is extremely powerful. The second ability I wish was a little better because I don't understand why it like only reveals 3 cards and you just like get all lands to your hand. The rest go to the graveyard. Like, don't you think that should say like 8 land or 8 cards? You know?
I just feel like it should just like
I thought
search a library for 2 lands.
I thought it should have said based on how much like damage he does, and I'm just speaking like
That actually
flavorful.
makes a lot of sense.
Because, like, he destroys all these things, and then you get them, and you get to destroy other things with them, right?
Imagine it was whenever he dealt damage. So instead of discard a land card, it's discard your hand, and for every land discarded, deal 1 damage or 2 damage. So you just pitch your hand and try to draw more lands over and over.
Wait, you would draw cards?
Like instead of when it was combat damage, whenever he dealt damage, that'd be
Uh,
interesting.
well, he only deals damage once.
Yeah, it was like like if it was a Swans of Bernard Gold type thing. Like it's just the combo itself.
Yeah.
Then it'd be really good.
Yeah, I mean his second ability isn't amazing, but obviously if you like swinging in with him and revealing the top 3 for more because like let's say you reveal one land, that's 10 damage, right?
Yeah.
So that's a 2-turn clock. I don't know.
This thing just gets blocked by Thragtusk all day though.
No, it doesn't. He's a 7/6.
Yeah, but so what? You deal the 4 damage and then you try to deal 3. Actually, you can probably just pitch lands.
Yeah,
Deal
you
3
bash
damage.
into Thragtusk, they block. I don't know why. They take 4 and you draw 3. Or you get to reveal the top 3.
I actually just don't think you're ever going to attack with this card. You're just going to reanimate it, just fling like 18 points of damage to their face.
I don't know, but the thing is, the issue that I've been having is like once you get to 8 mana, usually all the lands are already out of your hand. Unless you got like you mulched and you saw a crap ton of lands. You know, but that doesn't happen all that often. Like a lot of times you'll mulch and it'll be like Unburial Rites, Creature, Mulch, Grizzly Salvage, and like it's like, oh, I blanked.
Right, but like if you play this card, you actually plan on keeping lands in your hand the entire time.
You can't like keep lands in hand when you want to play an 8-drop though, because this guy in standard is definitely
No, it's a 4 drop. You just Unburial Rites this card.
no way. You're calling Craterhoof Behemoth a 4-drop?
No, Craterhoof Behemoth requires you to have board position. This card does not.
This
is a combo card, and that's it.
I guess. I mean, I don't even know if I agree with that. Craterhoof Behemoth doesn't really require you to have that good of a board presence.
You still need a board presence, though. You can just put this guy on an empty board and kill them.
I mean, like even a Centaur healer is a board presence with Craterhoof Behemoth. Like you don't. That's the thing is like the people who are running all the Lingering Souls of Craterhoof Behemoth, and we've talked about this a bunch. You don't need 4 spirits on the board to make Craterhoof Behemoth a fucking monster.
I understand, but what I'm comparing is with Craterhoof Behemoth by itself, a 6/6 Trampler is not going to do the job. This guy by himself will more often than not do the job if you're just utilizing the ability.
Yeah, but Craterhoof Behemoth, like we were using him to take down Tamios and stuff, right? And not to mention, maybe 6 damage is all you need, just hasted damage.
Right.
I mean, this guy's hasted damage too if you have the lands.
This is better than hasted damage. They can't interact with it.
I wouldn't say it's better than. You don't have any land. Like, if you don't have any lands, it does nothing.
For sure.
That's the thing, is I don't think he's going to see that much standard play. I think people will try, and I mean, we have to see
you
what...
either need something else other than mulch to put lands to your hand. There needs to be one more enabler, and that's pretty much it.
I know, you need, like, Treasure Hunt and stuff like that. You remember Treasure Hunt?
That card was fine.
Yeah, I would have played it in a Borborygamos Enraged deck. I can't even pronounce his name.
You even got the blue for the Enter the Infinite.
God, it's just getting even better. They're gonna reprint Treasure Hunt. Anyways, next card.